Hey guys, Evan Quinn with Feuling Parts.
Luke Leatherman with Feuling Parts. We're here to showcase, do a little overview of our camshafts. And one thing that we kind of want to focus on is matching up the right camshaft to your engine build. And our main focus with our grinds is to give you the widest power band possible. And of course, in order to do that, you need to be using the correct stack up, or what I would say the right recipe, in order to get those results.
So, one thing that we always have customers coming in, or I should say calling about, especially when we're talking Milwaukee 8 camshafts, is what's the best cam for my build? And obviously the most common engine sizes are going to be the stock 107 or the stock 114.
Well, so kind of taking it, at the entry level, I would say, we've got what we call a 405 grind. Great little bolt-in. You're not going to see huge peak performance gains over the factory camshaft, but you're going to see an extended length and or a wider power band throughout. You're going to see an increased torque band. I think it's a perfect camshaft for a torque. Maybe somebody that's just looking at extending that torque band.
So what about our 465? Pretty common cam.
Well, the 465 is a great camshaft. I'm going to say for the 107s and 114s. Once again, really focusing on the torque bandwidth, but what we've really found, the 465 seems to work better in the shorter stroke engines, the 4 3/8 stroke, which would be your, out of the box 107s.
Right. And these are, again, just want to confirm for everybody, these are bolt-in camshafts, no valve springs or push rods needed.
Absolutely. So the 405, the 465, then I guess we can lead into the newer grind that we've got, the 472, all bolt-ins, and that's going to be factory cylinder heads and the CVO cylinder heads. I think there's some confusion out there when we start talking about cylinder heads. The CVO cylinder heads have the same valve springs as the factory ones. Once you get into the Scream and Eagle CNC ported heads, then they've got some larger valve springs, allow you to get into the larger lifts. But the 405, 465, and our new 472 are all bolt-ins.
That's great. And the 472 is really more geared towards that 117 engine, right?
Yeah, that's really what we designed that for, and I guess with more focus put on the 4.5-inch stroke. We found that the camshafts respond much differently between the two strokes, and the new 472 grind is better suited for the larger strokes. And somebody's looking to get the absolute largest bolt-in they can with the stock valve springs.
So not to back up too much, but we talked real briefly on the CVO cylinder heads versus the Scream & Eagle factory heads. And those Scream & Eagle factory heads have larger valve springs, so they can accommodate our 508, 521, and 538.
Yes, correct. Yes, so the CNC ported heads do allow up to our 538 grind. But I guess kind of backing down, we get into the bigger camshafts that do require the valve springs on the factory and or CVO heads, and that would be out of the gate our 508. 508 hits very hard down low, revs up quick, and I guess we kind of get into a lot of comparison between our 508 and the 521 grind. The 521 grind is definitely going to be more suited for some added compression, some cylinder head work, but it's going to give you that upper RPM, range and pull, where that 508 is going to be more of a, a workhorse down low.
Yeah, and I'm a big 508 fan. That's what I run on my personal bike, and I like that low end torque. I'm a big guy, so having something that hits hard down low and pulls strong up to 5,500 is where I personally like my power. It's a great camshaft.
Yeah, so and once again, the 508 will respond, well to some cylinder head work and throttle body, increase in throttle body size. In fact, once you get into that, 500 to that 508, 521, and we can even start kind of talking about our 592 grind. But cylinder head work, compression, and larger throttle body will complement those cams very well.
Awesome. And what about the big dog, the 592? Everybody always calls and asks about that cam.
That's the big dog. Everybody thinks bigger is better. Not necessarily what we think on this end, but if you're getting crazy with your bore size, compression ratio, you're going to get after the cylinder heads and throttle body. Absolutely, the 592 is going to give you, your peak power numbers, and we've designed that cam to also pull very hard down low. So we're not only get the benefits of some bigger horsepower numbers, but you're going to get a wide power band with that. And but once again, to take full advantage of that camshaft, you have to be pretty aggressive with the cylinder heads and intake and throttle body and all that go with it.
And it's not uncommon to have to relieve material to accommodate that higher lift camshaft, right?
Correct. Our 592 cam, we highly recommend our high load spring, part number 1207, and you will most certainly going to have to remove a little bit of material from the spring seat. We have cutters that are in the catalog to allow you to do so.
Well, I think that's all great information, and I think anybody that's watching this video can make a cam choice based off of the information we just gave them.
Rock on.